What's going on? Needed to hear that really bad. So out of the blue, out of all of this stuff after like 200 days, but we're gonna go along with this because they totally believe in their own lies because they're guilty. So lo and behold, I sent this mass email out to about 30 something people, just a little bit, right? Now this was a couple days ago when we had that incident, right? So you can see right here, because like I told you guys, I like doing my shit fresh, off the chunk, no hesitations, no letbacks, no filters. As you can see, the woman in the picture, right? She knows who my cousin is, who are what? In these text messages, right? We've already posted that. You guys can check it out. I've already posted it on every last thing, right? So this person swears up and down of their statement, but lo and behold, these were the main people asking for a power of attorney and information to get my birth certificate. Why? So they could steal my identity to do whatever it was, to do fraudulent activity within a bank and a court system and everything else in fucking between to do what they done. Now, if this person was smart, they would have never did anything into the email. I just put the thing up there to allow the FBI and the CIA to know the names of all the people that was trying to contact me with emails. Not just that, like I said, even if a person changed their phone number and got it towards me, I still have the information, which I mean, you imagine how many text messages I got since 2018 that I've kept screenshotted and posted. Now, they also know this, that every time a person gets a new number based off an IPP address, while you're getting it through whatever cellular company, even if it's through a PayPal, this is the one thing a person does not learn how to change because they don't think about it this way. How they say things when they text them, it's the same. But we ain't going to go there. Why? Because the information in the text, you can clearly see is the same individuals, correct? Yes, bro. This is why they don't understand. This person should have never emailed back. Never emailed back. Because the one thing she says in this video was, well, I didn't know your mother or father. You're the one who helped send the picture of the woman holding me as a kid saying that was my mother. Who does that? Who does that? So right there, she just told on herself. Just right there, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the cousin who she talked about, she already just confessed who was helping, which is the cousin who was living at 11428 198th Street in Jamaica, Queens, where the house is where they did all of that stuff to us kids that they're living in today. Now, this is the same cousin who's sitting here. We can do it. Like I said, you guys can look at this stuff. I just screenshotted this shit. We go right here. You can see as is, it is the last things I sat here and used, right? Not this one, because that's the birth certificate and stuff. Go back. Where we at? Right here. And this is on, like I said, this was on my birthday of 2020. As Ebony Joy Hicks states, okay, fill out what the process is of your family members becoming power of attorney. Wait a minute. We're taking this out of context. Why? Because I thought they were going to what? Try to help with me and my kids until I can get whatever crooked shit going on here done. No. They had other reasons to ask for a power of attorney 5 years ago. So what would a power of attorney do? Now, this is a person who says that she just said this person bought the home. You have to go to some form of a court system to get something that probably revolves around a deed or something that would have to pass down one name to another name for you to get a house deed, which means this cousin got to know for a full fact what a power of attorney does for a person. Ooh. That's a smooth criminal. Right? And that's what that is right here. Now check this out. She should have never emailed me. She should have never emailed me. She should have shut the fuck up and minded her own damn business. She just incriminated herself right now. right now. Because this is the same cousin who said this. Oh, when they were drowning, when I was going to drown in the ocean, and she said, well, that must have been some unseen force. Maybe it was your mother. Now, you understand this. That whole family in New York knows the picture that they sent of the woman holding me as a baby is not my mother. All of them know this. So it's obviously, if they're going to lie about something like that, I guarantee you they lied about this. And here's the proof of it. Now, I remember this as a kid. Why? Because for them to do the things that they did to people, somebody would have to work at a hospital. I remember it was what? Glenda Francis, I think Cheryl, and there was probably one other female that was when I was kids. They were RNs at a hospital. Lucille Hicks was, I think she worked at a hospital too. So I guarantee you this, they had access to medication. When the grandparents who owned this house was getting sick and they were pretending to care for them, they were poisoning their IVs. Well, how did they do that? They worked at the hospital with the medication to stick it in these people's IVs. That's how they did it. I remember all three of them worked as RNs. By now, they should have got promotion because this was 20, 30 years ago. I remember these things. And again, we all know we could take a polygraph test. I guarantee you none of these motherfuckers would take a polygraph test. Why? Because they were murdering their own family to get a house, to get an inheritance so that they can fucking live fantastic. And today, she called me crazy. You know, that's the last thing I'm getting tired of, people trying to call me crazy when 9 times out of 10, I'm more educated than they are. I'm getting tired of people calling me fucking crazy. And then they don't want to come and look at any videos, any facts, any hard copies, nothing. If they don't want to look at nothing but calling you crazy, they full of shit. That's why we're getting victory out of this shit. I can't even stop freaking fragilating. Why? Because I'm not fucking excited right now because she fucked up by emailing me. It's been over 200 days. Ain't nobody from New York was trying to contact me, and I've been sitting here saying shit for a minute. They didn't come and be like, hey, we see that you doing this, man. Can we talk about it? No, it's been 200 days, over 200 days. And the things that we're talking about is so sensitive. The fact that there's murder, fraud, and fraudulence and theft. And you telling me nobody from New York who called themselves my family said that they love me. The same people, as you can see, as the emails are rolling in real time, asking about what? A power of attorney and a birth certificate who needed my information. Now, in case they couldn't get the information, they would have had to do what? They would have had to know somebody who knew me to get the information. Which means what? It would have had to have been somebody I had to be having sexual relations with. Right. They would offer them money. Now, here's the list. That's Shyla, that's Elizabeth, and that's June fucking Paul. It's one of those three that would have had to contact them, and they would have took money to give them what? My social security number, my birth certificate, or something with my information to give to the family. Why? Because they didn't have all the information. But I guarantee you what? They would have paid somebody to get their information. Y'all see this shit unfolding, right? So for a person to call me fucking crazy and you don't want to see the evidence right in front of you, you're a piece of shit. And that's why they're going to lose. Everybody else can see that, but the people who don't want to look at the evidence, guys. See? I can't make it up. Y'all watch me shuffle. They're thieves. Look, it's still going. Now think about it. If I kept every phone number since 2019 with every text message since 2019, and all I had to do was say power of attorney or birth certificate, they're the only ones in that conversation. Because I didn't tell nobody else about this information but them. The only way that they could have got my numbers would have had to been from Elizabeth, Shyla Cover, or June Paul. There's no other person that was close enough. And the only other place was close enough was a place where I worked at. And the last two jobs I had was at Big Daddy's Barbecue or Fred Meyer's in Fairbanks Select. That's the only way. Because other than that, I never gave nobody that information. So that's 5 other places that 9 times out of 10, one of them took money to give my family information so they can get this power of attorney to fill out information to make a false birth certificate, slap a new face on it, and pretend to be me so that they can sit here and take this money. Oh, but if this was on TV and CSI, you motherfuckers have been like, that sounds like a good plan. But I just sat here and just did it right in front of everybody's face. This is how they got my information. This is why I'm being surveillanced by FBI. Why? Because my information with my number is out there committing fraud. I never leave the house. And they can come and scan my phone. They can polygraph I don't go nowhere, do nothing. But sit here, do my job, do my stuff, do my creativity, write my books, do my art. So how am I outside of this place sitting there getting loans in my name? How am I purchasing cars in my name? How the hell would I got a house and I'm sitting here living in a fucking room? It's because that's what they were doing. So for order for them to push the paperwork, that means they would have to do what? 1, they would have to have somebody in the court system. Oh shit, my lawyer quit on me 4 times. I guarantee you she knows whatever motherfucking paperwork there is because she quit 4 motherfucking times. So she knows the paperwork. And I got phone calls and conversations and text messages and emails going back and forth between these 2 people. Next, you would have to know somebody at the bank wherever that fucking money was stashed, which means you wouldn't have to know a bank teller who would just be like, who knows that that's not actually me, but the paperwork says it's me. Because if the actual person knew that it was me and didn't stop, they just did that because the paperwork looked right. That means that's fraud. Because the person at the bank knew that the face did not match the information that was given to them on the piece of paper. Because it wasn't me, because I never leave. That's why nobody wants to give me time and dates. Because I got 8 years of forward and backward that I can prove that I was never at no bank. I was never at no mortgage. I never took out no car. I never fucking put nothing down on no house. So how am I at these places? But my information is at these places. This is how they did it. And on top of that, they rerouted the mail, which means somebody has to know the address I was at. For them to reroute the mail. Because I was supposed to be getting certificates and stuff in the mail, identifying that what was going on. I didn't get one piece of information at all. So where'd they get the signatures? Because you need a signature. I never signed no pieces of paper. I never signed out anything for a power of attorney. I never signed any paperwork for a birth certificate. So how is there a power of attorney in my name, a birth certificate in my name? How is there a house in my name? How is there a car in my name? Who's cashing checks in my name and I don't go nowhere? And then they wonder why the FBI is watching? Because that's a big ass motherfucking crime. So they would have had to pay people around me to watch me to make sure that I would never know what was going on outside of me never leaving this fucking room. And to top it off, the only way how they could get rid of it to make it look like it was, they would have had to bring in some form of a female to get close enough to me for me to either eat something from them or drink something from them to put something in my fucking food so it looks like I committed suicide. The information is right there. It's already done. What I'm excited about and I'm passionate about is because out of all of this time, why would these people try to email me now? Because if they were honest and true and they were family as they would, and they try to consult, no. They wouldn't try to consult because they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing wholeheartedly. And the fact that she just confessed and implicated herself But she should have never opened up her mouth. She should have never texted me. She should have never emailed. She should have never came back. And the simple fact that I'm getting tired of people calling me crazy, let's take an IQ test. The next person that tries to say I'm crazy, let's take an IQ test. Let's take a polygraph test. I'm waiting for this stuff. Why? Because they got caught up. She just ratted herself out. She just ratted about the address because that house is still in that name, which means they had to inherit that house. The grandparents of that house left it for me. And this is how they got to steal the information, because how is it in my goddamn fucking name and I don't live there? And then talking about inheritance and stuff. You got to look at it, because I already posted it. I'm not going to go back. If you want to look at it, look at what I just already posted. I wasn't talking about no damn freaking inheritance like that. And then she had to bring up that house. So it means she was lying to me. You a grown-ass woman, old enough to be my mother, and you're lying to me to cover up what you, your son, and the cousins did so that you guys could sit there and steal, rob other people. And now they got the medicine to stick in the grandparents' IVs that they murdered. They were working at a hospital. All three of those women were working at hospitals when I was growing up. I fucking remember. They were RNs at that time. I guarantee you they went up in position. And for you to go up in position means what? You get bigger keys. You get in charge of what? Other rooms with bigger keys, right? Which means that's how they got the medicine to stick into people's IV so that when they fucking passed on, they would go. So the next thing they had to do was what? Look at what the will said. So they looked at what the will said and saw they weren't in the will. Why? Because the person who died knew that these people were fucked up. And then that's why they left it to me. So they got mad about that, got the information, redid this, and all they had to do was get somebody to rewrite a will. But little did they know, they did not get rid of the original. They just made a forgery of a copy of the will. Now they found the original will. The original. Not the copy of the original. They found the original one. And as I did when this woman sat here, decided all of a sudden to email me, I told her right off the gate, God have mercy on all of you. On every last one of you that sat there and did this and watched me and my kids suffer. Because this started there. Because they got jealous because the grandparents that she's talking about in her email are the ones who left me all of that stuff. They got upset. And that's when they plotted to use each other to take me out of a will, get it rewritten, and steal my information. And I'm telling you, they had to use one of the women that I was having sex with for them to get my social security and address, which is Shyla, Elizabeth, or June. Because I'm not out there just fucking everybody. I know exactly who I was having sexual relationship with. And I know exactly which women would have that information to give to the family for them to forge a whole power of attorney and to get a new birth certificate, which means if you get a power of attorney with a birth certificate, that means you can get a social security card. So they used all of that information to forge the documents to take me out of the will so that they can take it for themselves. Case fucking closed. And anybody else trying to stop it, we already know you're involved. Because we already know they already hired and gave people money. That's how much money is on the table. And they wanted it for themselves. And they were willing to sacrifice me and my kids. So when this woman was like, oh, maybe it's better for you to not be with your kids. Bitch, please. Your son is a goddamn drug dealer. She said that about me in the fucking email. Maybe you are mental. That was strike two. Oh, so I'm crazy. And then you're going to tell me it was better for me not to have my kids. None of them bitches were fucking good parents. None of them were role model adults. I'm being straight up honest. And for this fucking goddamn woman to say I'm a bad parent, anybody who says that shit can go suck a dick. They're mad because I was a better parent than they were. And then you're going to call me crazy on top of that? Right there, told you, they're ruthless. On top of the fact that they're liars and they got caught. And they were willing to kill their own freaking the grandparents to get it. She should have never emailed at all, bro. This is live action right